if you realistically thought that your life expectancy was going to be 200 years as opposed to, say, 85, do you think you'd feel differently about any of these issues?
On climate change, no. I mean, because
you're going to be living through and experiencing so much of what the world is going to be like as we get through all of it. I'm just wondering if that it all, because short-termism is a reality for all of us.
That's a fair point. But again, one of the things I think we fail to understand with climate change, we're very much told the story, life used to be getting better and better, but climate change is sort of going to undermine the whole thing. Well, actually what climate change is going to mean is that the trajectory of things getting better is going to be slightly lower. So it'll get better slightly less fast. So let me just give you one example. So the World Health Organization estimate that because of climate change, we will have more people starving. That is typically understood as, oh my God, there's going to be a lot of people starving. But no, what we're expecting is that we'll have, towards middle of the century, we'll have very, very few people starving. What we will then see because of global warming, that it will be slightly more, very much fewer people starving by 2050. So in that sense, it's not that, if I'm going to be living in that in 2050 or in 2100, then I would change my mind. I'm actually making the argument that right now we're making policies that are really poorly adapted to fix climate change. I would like us to do it smartly, both so they're cheaper, but also so they work better.
The fear, the rejoinder is that I think there's a lot of fear that straight line trajectory is underestimating the nature of the crisis, that what happens when you actually see the polar caps melt, if you lose New York, you're going to feel rather differently.
Yes,
you lose Louisiana, you lose Florida, you can no longer live in the place of your homeland. Like, you're going to just feel very differently about the future of the planet.
But I would then counter and say that's exactly straight line thinking, right? People will tell you if sea levels rise and we do nothing, yes, a lot of places are going to get inundated. Lots of, this standard argument, 187 million people are going to get flooded. But of course they won't, because we actually have the technology to avoid that happening.
And in poor places, they'll move.
And well, in poor places, they will also handle this. They will, some places, so in Alaska, for instance, you will give up land because it's just not economically viable to protect. But most places in the contiguous US, you will defend it and you will actually live fine.